from all corners of the earth, capital is pouring into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Seeking to diversify, the oil-rich nation has been bullish on growing its tech industry and establishing itself as the go-to spot for splashy international events and tourism. For example, at a glitzy conference in March, Amazon announced a $5.3 billion investment in the kingdom for data centers and artificial intelligence technology. The largest hotel construction activity in the Middle East is happening in Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Public Investment Fund is in talks with the Professional Golfers Association Tour, and its sports fund recently put $100 million.
لاعبي الجولف المحترفين، وقد وضع صندوق الرياضة مؤخرا $100 مليون في دائرة فنون القتال المختلطة. سرعت الفيفا الهيئة الحاكمة أو الضابطة لكرة القدم الدولية عمل.
And the World Cup announcement, along with its $100 billion fund to invest in AI and other technology, may mark Saudi Arabia's coronation as the world's boom town. But eager multinationals should proceed with caution. Saudi Arabia's dismal human rights record, including when it comes to labor rights, make the kingdom a risky and unstable investment and base of operations. Businesses that invest in Saudi Arabia are actively complicit in the country's human rights abuses and could be the driving force for further violations. Of course, sadly, there are many examples of questionable investing in countries despite their human rights records, like the world's best-known fashion retailers implicated with suppliers involved in Uyghur forced labor, with brands pressured to cut ties with suppliers and end all sourcing from the Xinjiang region of China, or in an example of employers pushing for leadership to live up to its brand promises, Google being forced to shut down Dragonfly, its censored search app for China, after employers partnered with rights organizations to stop the project. Not to mention the decades-long international condemnation, legal suits, and loss of investor confidence, as in the case of Shell operations in the Niger Delta, including the execution of environmental activist Ken Saro-Wiwa in 1995, and the ongoing activism of his family against Shell. And of course, we've seen in the last few months a broad global coalition from students to international jurists who have called for an end to investments in arms and other business fueling international crimes, including apartheid and potentially even genocide by Israel in the occupied Palestinian territories. The report we are launching today makes for difficult reading. It is the product of incredibly brave and careful investigations by migrant workers in Saudi Arabia itself, with the support of expert colleagues from across the world. The report raises a simple question. How on earth could FIFA seriously consider Saudi Arabia as a host for its marquee event, given its human rights record? Or partner with Saudi Aramco, the world's largest oil and gas company, given its role in climate change after so many years of consultation with human rights experts and exposure of scandal after scandal? In-depth, confidential, one-to-one interviews with dozens of migrant workers conducted by Equidem have documented significant labor and human rights violations, showing a pattern of legal exclusion, discrimination, exploitation, and suppression of freedom of association in Saudi Arabia. A different path is possible. Saudi Arabia must be required to demonstrate compliance with international human rights and labor rights standards. These standards are not just the international standards for human rights worldwide. They are a path to a better society in Saudi Arabia, where all people can live a life of dignity, freedom, and prosperity, regardless of their gender, race, beliefs, or sexuality. It is that same belief that unites all of us today, including the speakers on our panel. Equidem's team of worker and community investigators, experts, and advocates will continue to monitor the situation in Saudi Arabia, as we do across the globe, to expose injustice, provide solutions, and build a better human rights movement.